Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chat Desk Unplugged. My name is Tim Alfredo, a show that promotes English language learning in Mozambican education. In this day and age, we understand the importance and impact of the English language for the global community. English is a language for communication. It's a language for technology. It's a language for business opportunities and access to resources. But what does learning English really look like for students in Mozambique, a country with a population of over 30 million people and an English proficiency rate of less than 10%? How do the students find it, and what challenges do they face? And how can we make it better? Every Wednesdays, we feature on the show different guests, from educators to business people, students, and also regular people, to share their experiences along the journey of the English language learning, what barriers they have encountered, and how do they manage to celebrate success and call English learning a thing of the past. Today, I'm privileged to welcome Mr. Armando Massingue. Mr. Massingue is a teacher currently working for Massingue Basic School. He's a graduate teacher from the University of Universidade Pedagógica. But he also attended the basic teaching program at Namaasha Teachers Training Institute. He has a wealth of experience in English language learning and teaching. Welcome to the show, Mr. Massingue.
Thank you very much, and allow me to greet the ones who are watching us from social media, Facebook and other social medias. As was said, my name is Armando Massingue, and recently I'm working in Massingue Basic School, and I'm dealing with English. I've been dealing with it 8 years ago. In 8 years. That's it.
Being an English teacher with many years of experience, what do you love most about teaching English, especially with kids?
Well, I like most when it's the time of practice, speaking skill, to develop speaking skill. I like it when I orient my students and they correspond to what I'm orienting them. So it gives me proud. I feel like, at least I'm being understood, and it gives me that motivation that I'm doing the right thing, you see.
So you've been working with the age group ranging between 6 and 14 years old, am I correct?
Yes.
Is that the range of the age group that you've been working with, 6 through 14 years
yes.
old?
Indeed.
What has been the most rewarding part about working with this kind of age group?
Well, the most rewarding part of it is that I will talk about grade 7 students. It's around 12 or 13, 14 age.
Okay.
Yes. So the most rewarding part of it is when you realize that you see the students were eager to know the language. They investigate more, and they bring you some questions. And sometimes I face some problems, like students bringing more doubts that advanced,
that you're probably not even prepared for
at
that particular moment.
Yeah. So this is the most rewarding part, because you're obliged to investigate more, to invest yourself more.
That's the beauty of being a teacher. Yes. Because not only you're teaching, but you're also learning. Because before going to the classroom, you have to make sure that your craft. You have mastered whatever that is it that you're going to teach. Tell us about your process, your training process to become a teacher. What challenges did you face during this whole process, and what was your English before, and then how is your English now? How is it improved?
Yes, well, first it wasn't easy, because that time I had no conditions.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I could carry on with my studies. I used to listen to music, but that time it was difficult for me to have a mobile phone, Android.
Yeah, okay.
In this case.
When was this?
It was 2008.
2008.
Yeah,
Okay.
2008. And I did not conditions to have one Android, for example, so that I could investigate more.
Right.
But the most important part of it is that I had some friends who had some books,
Okay.
who had some dictionaries, and one of them used to download some lyrics of song and could bring it to me, and we could share, you see, the message in the music. So out of that, I enrolled myself to be trained at Namahasha, and it was tough because my English was still poor.
Okay.
Yeah, even to manage the verb to be, it was difficult. It was normal for me to say, you is. It was
Okay.
normal that time.
Oh, so you went to a training institute with a very, very, very low level of English.
Yes.
Okay. How would you rate yourself back then from at the rate of 1 to 5 in terms of how good were you in speaking English?
Yeah.
Being 5 the highest.
Yeah, I would. I prefer to say 2.
2.
2, yes.
Okay.
I prefer to say 2 because even to go to Namahasha to be trained as teacher, I had some friend, help of some friends who were also preparing themselves to go there. So I used to join them, and they could lift me up. See, so but when I entered there, I started the course. Things started to change.
All right.
Because there was English every time. While outside, I only had the chance to listen to music, and there were few people speaking it. Some of them, they had their things to do, their piece jobs and else to do. So I used to prepare myself listening to music.
Good.
And reading some dictionaries, bilingual dictionaries.
Good.
So it was not helpful.
Let's go back to your teaching experience. What are the some of the common challenges students face in your classroom?
Well, taking into consideration that our official language is Portuguese here, and we also have some other mother tongues, such as Shangana and the other languages.
Right.
The most challenge they face is wanting to translate. Once you introduce, for example, a vocabulary or introduce a new content, they most of the time ask you to translate it, even though
What does that mean, teacher?
Yes, even though
how do you say this in so and so language?
Of course. Even though you give them some clues, like for example, let's suppose you are teaching them about personal pronouns. You may ask some of them, a guy, for example, and a girl. You say she, he. They will even though want you to translate. You see, so
Okay.
this is the most challenge they face there.
I can imagine.
Yes. Yes.
All right. And how do you make learning engaging? Because I understand it must be a very, very actually challenging atmosphere for you as well as a teacher, given the fact that, like you said, you just say that students in most cases want you to translate, but that's not like the technique that you want to apply all the time.
Yes.
How do you make learning engaging in such situation?
Yes, in a situation like this, I prefer to make the lesson fun, like bringing some games. You see, I make it fun by bringing some games, or even shrinking myself to become a child. You see, so that they feel like they are dealing with someone who is also a child like them. You see, so this is the way I used to manipulate, the lesson so
Is
that
it
they feel
easier? Is it
comfortable.
easier for you to find those English games?
Yeah, it hasn't been easier because sometimes it is something like spontaneous.
Okay.
It's a sudden, you must be creative.
I like that.
You
Being
see, you must be
creative.
creative. You see, you find out that, for example, they did not understand about certain issue we're explaining. You have to find a way out quickly.
Yes.
You see, and not showing them that no, I'm doing this because you did not understand.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
try to find a fun way to engage them into the lesson.
Oh, that's beautiful. Sounds
Yes.
sounds very good and interesting. Well, now let's call in our first segment, which we call Etymology Quest. So here we are back again with our segments on Etymology Quest, and this is the segment where we trace back the origins of some of the words commonly used in the English dictionary, in the English language. But of course, they originally came from they were actually imported from other languages and adopted into the English language. Mr. Massingue, we are going to look at some words in English. We use them in English. They are available in the English dictionary. English vocabulary per se. But these words, like it or not, or believe it or not, they came from other nations and then got into English. The first one is paparazzi. Have you ever heard of that word? Paparazzi?
Paparazzi, this is the first time I'm hearing this word.
So that might be very difficult for you to guess, I believe. So actually, paparazzi is in English to describe a photographer or a group of photographers who take pictures of celebrities.
Okay.
Those who follow celebrities and taking pictures sometimes without permission.
All right.
And they sell those pictures. They post the pictures on their social pages and even in articles that they produce, and they make a lot of money using those pictures.
Right.
So we call them paparazzi.
Paparazzi.
Yeah.
Great.
We don't have a lot of that here, but in countries such as South Africa, I mean, like the nearby country, there is a lot of paparazzi. There are a lot of paparazzi. But anyway, let's guess where this word come from.
Paparazzi. Let me travel to German.
No, it's not German.
It's not German.
No.
Is the country make part of Europe, Asia?
It's in Europe. It's in Europe. I wasn't supposed to give you a clue, but anyway, that's okay.
All right. If it's not German, maybe it's let me travel to France.
No, it's not. Okay, I'll tell you where it comes from. It comes from Italy.
Oh.
Yeah, it comes from Italy, it's actually plural for paparazzo.
Paparazzi.
The next word is, you told me that you taught mathematics, although maybe it might not relate quite much because of the age group that you taught. Algebra.
Algebra. Yeah. Let me travel now to, I believe this is a Greek word.
Not necessarily Greek. Algebra.
Algebra. Okay. Let me go to Arabic.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah.
Did you know, or it was just a guess?
I was just guessing.
Okay. Yes, you definitely correct. And the final word is jungle.
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 You know, rumble in the jungle, the famous saying by, I think it's Muhammad Ali, the boxer, the late boxer.
Jungle.
Yeah.
Maybe it is this time that I will go back to German.
No, it's not German.
Not. Wow.
It's from one of the most populated region.
Yeah, it might be China.
No, it's not China.
China.
You missed it.
What about Japan?
No, it's not Japan. It's Hindi. It's a Hindi.
It's
So
Hindi.
around India, Nepal, those countries. So that's where the word jungle originated from.
Oh, great.
Well, so that was it with our etymology quest segment. And of course, let's move on with our discussion here in the studio. Let's continue with our discussion. What are your top 3 tips that you would give to beginners in English language learning?
Great. The first one, which helped me, is listening to music and exploring the lyrics and trying to find out the message on the music. And the second one, I prefer to say, you see, maybe to mimic. You see, like a native speaker, you are listening to a native speaker, and then you repeat.
You repeat after what they say.
Yes.
Okay.
So this has been it's a good tip for me. This has been helping me a lot to know the pronunciation of certain words. And the third one is related to reading books, interesting stories. Yeah.
I mean, reading in English.
Yes.
This is it's a recurring question that I usually ask because I do get that a lot from people that I interview saying that reading books and stuff. But I'm thinking, I'm imagining somebody starting this process of English language learning. How do they know how to read? That's the thing. That's the key. I mean, that's the point.
Of course, we have some short stories.
Okay.
Yeah, you may try to find books with short stories. They can help a lot. Maybe with some few words or, half of a page, for example. Yeah, you try to read the story and try to understand what is the story about. It can help a lot. So by the time you'll be reading, you'll get more experience and you will want to read long tests. Yes.
Oh, those are very good tips. Now, for parents of young learners who might be willing to help their kids learn English, what advice would you give them, bearing in mind that some of these parents, can barely speak English? Yeah. How can they help their children in the process?
Very good. Interesting question. Nowadays, we are rich in terms of technology. I believe the parents, first of all, there are some channels, you see, that help in terms of cartoons. There are cartoons in English, and we have, for example, YouTube. You can, search for some videos there. For beginners, there are videos for all the levels, you see. So they can help in this way, or buying Android in this case, helping in terms of megas, you see. It can be helpful too. Or sending their children to a garage, to someone who has got some experience, you see, so that they give their first steps. After that, I believe once they will be, engaged in the language, they will be able to carry on by themselves.
One of the challenges that I have noticed with students learning English, especially beginners, is they do have exposure and access to the language in the classroom. But when the books close, when the bell rings and go home, they don't have that exposure, that much exposure as they do have in the classroom. What can they do? What sort of kind of homework do you give them to practice and I mean speaking English outside the classroom
Well,
in the absence of their teacher?
well, interesting question. Most of the homework I usually give my students related to activity where they have to rehearse a certain expression.
Okay.
I introduce I introduce or I provide them a certain vocabulary.
Okay.
And I present to them certain expressions where they have to rehearse by themselves. They may be talking alone at home and trying to join, the expression and relate to the vocabulary they were presented. So the next day they come, the first thing they have to do is to practice what they were given to do.
Okay.
Yes.
Present what they were giving.
Yes.
All right. The assignment that they've been given.
Yes.
Right. Correct. Well, let's get into our next segment, which we call From Blunder to Wonder. Let's have it. Well, so here we are back again from Blunder to Wonder. This is a light-hearted segment celebrating those awkward yet transformative moments in language learning process when you realize that all along you've been using, pronouncing, even saying words incorrectly in different contexts until you realize that, oh my goodness, have I been saying all this all along? But today you find out that, wow, it's been a pleasure. However, those moments, they might seem awkward and embarrassing and frustrating at that particular moment, but these are milestones towards the growth in the process of language learning. Mr. Massingue, here's our segment. I want you to go back to your past and look at that expression, a word. Either you were mispronouncing it without knowing, or maybe you were using it in the wrong context in English until later on you realize that this has always been the wrong way of using it or doing it. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
And,
do you recall any of those words or statement?
Yes. The word is, I will never forget this, is give up.
Give up.
Yes,
Okay.
give up. So that time I thought give up
Okay.
was not, did not mean to quit.
Okay.
I thought it meant, you see, give and in an increasing way.
Okay, the height.
Yeah,
the height.
the height, yes. Yeah, I thought like that. But when I realized that give up was the same as to quit, I said, my God.
Yeah. So those phrasal verbs, we call phrasal verbs.
Yes.
Give up.
Yes.
So you were actually taking each word by word,
yes,
and translate them, like independently and literally.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So another word is to call on.
Call on.
Which
okay.
means to visit.
To visit.
Yes. So I used to. I thought that time that to call on is to, to call someone every time. You see, while the real meaning of it is to visit.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you. So that was Mr. Massingue's Blunder to Wonder. Those words that really made some, they actually had some embarrassing situations back then, but today he is overjoyed knowing that this was a process into his learning process. Actually, sorry, the repetition, this was a process into his learning English. So let's continue with our discussion. Well, let's continue with our talk here with Mr. Massingue in the studio. Mr. Massingue, if you could give one piece of advice to someone who is overwhelmed, they've tried this and that in terms of learning English, and they feel like, no, this is the time to give up, like you said.
Yes, my piece of advice will be don't give up. You know, learning is a process, so it requires, you know, for you to be patient. You see, it takes time, so it's not easy. Just try ever and ever again, so you will succeed by the end. Even though, for example, I'm here speaking it, but I'm still in the process of learning every day. So don't give up. Maybe what you should do is changing the strategy. If you tried, you know, reading some short stories and you found out that it's boring, you never develop your skills, maybe you find another strategy, which maybe is to listen to some musics and
Okay.
you know, you explore the lyrics and try to find out the message. And then if you fail, you find another strategy. There are many endless strategies that you can, you know, apply so that you overcome the problems you are facing in learning this language.
Would you think, or would you say that the internet can be considered a fruitful source to learn a language?
Of course, it can you know, bring, you know, positive outcomes depending on the way you manipulate it.
Okay.
Yes, maybe the right thing will be having someone to orient you in which way you should follow. You should follow the, you know,
Do you
some content.
do you usually do you ever guide your students to use the internet for study purposes,
Yeah.
especially in English?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have a particular websites that you could recommend, or maybe you would want to go back to your files and see which ones you would recommend?
Well, the only one is YouTube. Meanwhile, I can
Okay.
recommend is YouTube. YouTube, whatever content you want, you just write there, and it shows you a lot of videos. So then you will be selective. You'll have to select what is more interesting, which speaker is facilitating you
Okay.
the most. Or yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, looking ahead, how do you see the role of English language learning in Mozambique, let's say 20 years from now?
Yes, I can see that this language has been playing an important role because nowadays I can see a lot of those who speak this language
Okay.
have facilitation. They have facilities in, you know, in terms of employment. You see, we have many companies in Mozambique, which the bosses, you know, English speakers, maybe coming from England, America, and other countries that their official language is English, and this has been giving opportunity for those. And also, we have those who, you know, are clever enough or smart. They decide to start their own business, for example, like opening a garage, so that by the end of the month they have something. So out of that, we have the tourists, for example, when they come to visit our country. We have some people who, you know, have been orienting them. You know, they've been explaining what's going on, and by the end of the day, they have some coins in their pocket. So it has been, a fountain of employment. This language.
In my opening paragraph, I mentioned Mozambique English proficiency rate lying at about less than 10% of English proficiency rate. Do you see this number going higher?
Of course, yes. I can.
What is it that you see that is contributing to this number, probably this percentage going up?
Well, maybe the number of speakers and the opportunities that these speakers are having in the market is contributing. And also the globalization, you see. We see many people now speaking English, globally. And many contents, even, that are shared on social media, they are dealt.
They come in English.
They come in English.
Okay.
So people want to understand personally instead of asking someone to translate. What is he saying? What are they saying? So this has been contributing a lot.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Let's have our final segment. We're almost running towards the end of our show, and let's bring in the intro. It's 5 Favs. Here we are back again with the 5 Favs, and this segment deals with your 5 favorite English-related things, your 5 favorite English-related things, and I'm going to ask you one by one. Number 1 being, what is your favorite English word?
Great.
One word.
One only word.
Yeah, your favorite one.
Yeah.
That you say it with a lot of pride, passion.
Okay. Strength.
Strength.
Yes.
Strength. Well, that's a positive. That's a positive one.
Strength.
I like it. And number 2, what is your favorite English phrase or idiom?
Yeah. My favorite idiom is don't beat around the bush.
Again?
Don't beat around the bush.
To beat around the bush.
Yes.
Would you like to explain to our viewers what does that mean? What does that mean, to beat around the bush? To not beat around the bush?
Yeah. To not beat around the bush is to be specific or be direct, not turning rounds to say a simple thing. Yes.
Does that happen because I do not want to tell you the truth, or I'm just trying to maneuver somehow to avoid telling you the truth?
Yeah, somehow this is sometimes people turn around, beat around the bush because they want you to ask them what,
okay.
so that you dig more.
Okay.
You see.
All right.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's done on purpose.
Yeah, it's
all
done
right.
on purpose.
Another one, number 3, is, what is your favorite English song or lyric?
Yeah, my favorite English song is, reggae from Bob Marley.
Sorry, what is the song?
The song is Redemption Song.
Redemption Song.
Yes.
By Bob Marley.
By Bob Marley.
It's a nice one. I know that.
Yes.
The next one is your favorite author or book, English book or author, your favorite.
Yes. I prefer to go through, the book.
The book?
Yes.
Okay.
The book. I know.
Which book is your favorite?
It sounds strange, but the book I like the most, my favorite one is the Bible.
The
Because
Bible.
there we find, the essence of life.
Okay.
You see, yeah, everything is dealt there about, money, about how to live, about it teaches generally everything in life.
They say it's the book of life.
It's
the book that has been translated into multiple languages.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's originally English, but I believe there are many copies of English Bibles.
Of course.
Correct. And the final one is, what is your favorite English accent?
Yes, my favorite English accent is a British one.
British accent.
Yes, it's British.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
because I'll just find out, because I found it interesting even for beginners.
Okay.
Yeah, they might find it, easier to understand rather than American.
What do you think is your accent?
Yeah,
Yeah.
myself, I mix up
It's a mix.
America,
It's just like most of us.
British.
Just like
Yes,
most of
yeah.
us. I understand that.
Yes.
Wow. So that were the 5 fabs, Mr. Massingue's 5 fabs. And you too, if you have yours that you would like to share with us, just feel free to post them on our page in the comment section, your 5 favorite English related things. Here we are back again, and moving on with our. We've come to the end of our conversation. It's been a very fruitful and honored to have you on the show, Mr. Massingue. Any final thoughts? Any final comments that you would like to make before we call it a day?
Yes, only to say that for you who probably are about to quit learning this language, don't quit. Yeah,
Good.
keep trying, and maybe try to find some people who are English speakers, It doesn't matter whether they are native or not.
Right.
Try to, to hug them and, make them, allow them to make you practice the language,
Good.
even though they turn rounds, you see, they beat around the bush.
Yeah.
Try to make them, practice with you the language, because I know many people, many English speakers, they do not like to expose themselves. We have those who are still shy because maybe they think their English is not that good.
Is not good enough to engage in
Yes.
everyday conversations.
Yeah, but even though, keep accommodating them, keep disturbing them, so that you find what you are looking for. You see.
Thank you. Well said. And with those, we would like to say thank you so much once again. And we're glad to have you anytime you want back on the studio again.
Thank you very
Is that
much.
okay? Well, that was it for today in our chat with Mr. Armando Massingue, a teacher delightfully working with kids aged 6 through 14 years old. Well, to our viewers, just remember that education is a collective effort, whether you are a teacher, you are a parent, a policymaker, or a student. Just know that your actions and voice count. Together, we can transform the way how education is conducted in Mozambique. Well, if you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for future episodes. My name is Tim Alfredo, and of course, you've been watching your Chat Desk Unplugged right here on Mindcast TV. Stay safe and stay tuned. Of course, keep learning and stay curious. Ciao.